within 2 years, you went from one to now two locations and about to be open up your third and fourth location. It's very daunting for a lot of the entrepreneurs and business owners listening right now. We've all gone through this process of deciding to make that leap to become a business owner. Can you talk to me a little bit through that leap that you made and kind of how the launch of your business went?
It's scary, obviously, right? A lot of people are used to routine and regimen. If it's not broke, don't fix it mentality is a lot of the mentality on everyone's mind, right? But I couldn't wait to branch out and really show my clients that I listened, I heard, I'm coming for them, and I'm going to help support them in any way that I can. It's scary, it's daunting, it really is, but the answer is always no unless you ask, right? And it's always going to be a failure in your mind. And if you fail, you just get up and just keep going for it until you reach that goal that you set.
Do you have a challenge or a failure or something that's happened since you started the company that you'd like to share with the entrepreneurs and the business owners listening right now?
Well,
Welcome to the Art of Kaizen for Entrepreneurs, growing 1% everyday podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Kaizen for Entrepreneurs podcast, where we discuss how to grow 1% every day in both business and in self. Joining me today is Nicole Pegliaro, the owner of Infinite You Wellness Clinic in White Plains and Long Island, New York. Nicole's clinics are leveraging TRT, GLP-1, Botox, IV therapy, and more to change the life of her clients for the better. Excited to talk with Nicole on this new evolution of health and wellness and how these products are helping her patients reach their goals every day. Thank you, Nicole, for joining me today.
thank you so much for having me.
Super excited to talk about this. I have personally gone down this journey recently. I am taking T157. As an athlete, I play professional paintball when I'm not sitting here nerding out on the computer, and I have destroyed my body over the years because of the lack of right recovery. And I've gone through the process of understanding a little bit more of how the testosterone levels of men at my age at 31 are lower than they've ever been ever in history. So I believe your clinics are doing some magical things to help people really find themselves, and specifically men, I'm assuming, is a majority of the consumers, but find themselves in a whole new way. Can you give me a little background about the clinic, where the idea came from, how you started this, and really what you guys are doing today?
So I started this journey 13 years ago. I was a registered nurse at another clinic, strictly just for men's testosterone, and I worked my way up from there. I started as a staff nurse, became the clinical director of the Manhattan branch, and then became the first market leader for that company, opened up 5 offices, trained numerous amounts of people from all over the nation, and decided that testosterone replacement therapy wasn't enough for me and my clients. They just kept asking for more. Why can't we do Botox? Why can't we do IVs? When the GLP started coming on the market, why can't my wife come here? Why can't my girlfriend come here? So eventually I just said, you know what? I kind of tapped out and reached the level of where I needed to in this company. So let me start to go on my own and just offer all the services that everyone's asked me in the 13 years that I've been doing this. Infinite You was born July of 2023, and we're going to be opening up our third and fourth clinic pretty soon.
Absolutely crushing it. So within 2 years, you went from one to now two locations and about to be open up your third and fourth location. Talk to me a little bit about that growth, right? It's very daunting for a lot of the entrepreneurs and business owners listening right now. We've all gone through this process of deciding to make that leap to become a business owner. Can you talk to me a little bit through that leap that you made and kind of how the launch of your business went?
It's scary, obviously, right? A lot of people are used to routine and regimen. If it's not broke, don't fix it mentality is a lot of the mentality on everyone's mind, right? But I couldn't wait to branch out and really show my clients that I listened, I heard, I'm coming for them, and I'm going to help support them in any way that I can, right? So, in the beginning, my business partner is actually a client of mine. We've known each other for the past 11 out of the 13 years I've been doing this. And he just saw my work ethic. He saw my passion. He saw the growth in my markets. And he was like, you really need to do this on your own. A little egg was hatched, and then we just decided to grow from there. And it's scary, it's daunting, it really is, but the answer is always no unless you ask, right? And it's always going to be a failure in your mind. And if you fail, you just get up and just keep going for it until you reach that goal that you set.
I love that. And coming in swinging. I mean, a lot of us, when we start off on our business journey, there's trials, there's tribulations, there's blockades. You usually have a little bit of a success from the work you've done previous years. But for you to go from one to now 3 to 4 locations within a 2 to 3 year span is super powerful. Can you talk to me a little bit about your growth plan and your growth trajectory? How are you finding the success?
Networking, a lot of networking, a lot of, looking at different markets in different areas and seeing where they're lacking and what I can offer. I I do tend to care for a lot of first responders. So I try to go to where they live, right? So right now I'm looking to open in Stamford, Connecticut, just to get that Connecticut population of first responders and everyday Jews coming into me. And then I'm looking in Orange County because a lot of, believe it or not, New York City first responders live upstate is what they call it, but it's really not upstate. It's Orange County is it's maybe like half an hour away from Westchester County, but the demand is there. So I try to go where the demand is and I try to meet them in the middle. I don't go in residential areas. I go where people go to work so they could pop in on their lunch break and leave before they get in trouble for it. It's a lot of networking, Kyle. A lot of late night
Yes, kind of
going to going to events, going to galas, going to, union meetings, going to bars and just all different types of discussion topics with people. A lot of patients are like, hey, me and some guys are going to go to the bar. Why don't you come? And I'm like, all right. And before you know it, they're asking me what I do and why I do it and how it could help them. And it snowballed from there.
guerrilla marketing, really boots on the ground. We talk about this so much of the evolution of social media, the evolution of paid advertising, the evolution of organic social media, and all these different platforms that have kind of taken up consumers' attention. But there is nothing as powerful as a face-to-face connection and really communicating with your potential clients in a way that resonates with them right at their problems. Now, like I said before, when I started this process, I've gone through the path a little bit of doing the research, kind of finding local facilities here in the Georgia area where I'm at. But can you talk to me a little bit different about how you're running your practice compared to, say, a competitor?
So I really try to listen to what my patient's needs are and try to meet it. I don't do the social media marketing thing. I'm going to eventually, but right now it's just not at the top of my priority. So it's a lot of, like you said, grassroots, boots to the ground, talking to people, getting referrals, and just putting my name out there in that way. And I try to do it in a way where I'm not going to become a millionaire off of one patient or two patients, right? So I try to see where the market is in my area and just go a little bit below the price because I'd rather have quality than quantity. So, a lot of my patients have stuck with me for the 13 years that I've been with them. I mean, I started in Manhattan, have Manhattan patients coming to me in either Long Island or Westchester, which is a trip for them, right? You're in Georgia, so have you ever been to New York? Do you know, like, the
Grew up,
distance
I
between
grew up,
places?
yeah, I grew up in actual upstate, so I grew up in Albany.
Okay. So, I mean, the distance is kind of challenging, but when you meet a clinician that, you build a relationship with and you trust them with your life, literally, you'll travel for them. So, I just try to bring that attitude and that care to every person that I meet. And I try to train my clinicians that way as well. This isn't just come in, let me give you an injection and leave. I want to get to know you. I want to get to your day-to-day life down in my list so I could say, okay, this is the health plan that I think you need. You being an avid paintball player, doing all these different things, having 2-year-olds, like all of that goes into my brain and says, okay, what can I do for Kyle to help him just live an energetic, healthy life every day? That's where
Really,
I'm different.
truly being customer facing, caring about the customer, working about their problems and work with them one on one. Let's talk about that customer a little bit. Who is the ideal customer that you're working with right now?
Honestly, anyone. For the testosterone replacement therapy, I say any man at the age of 23 or older should at least get a base level. So I'm not going to give you testosterone if you don't need it, but I try to educate my patients even on their initial eval on what testosterone can do, how it can help you if you need it. And, if you don't need it, here's your baseline now, just like any other blood work, cholesterol panel and diabetes panel, stuff like that. You should get it checked every 6 months to a year, right? Just to kind of see where you're falling. So the main thing I like to do is just educate anyone that comes in the door. And like you said earlier, at 31 years old, there's a lot more men that need TRT now than, let's say, our grandfathers did. And that's due to, the social structure of the world right now. A lot of people are under more stress. They have more high demand jobs. Everything, inflation, everything kind of puts a strain and stress on your body and your mental capability. So of course your hormone levels are going to feel that. And that's why I kind of come in and just educate my patients. Okay, maybe you don't need testosterone because your levels are okay, but how about a B12 injection? Let's spruce up your vitamin D. Maybe you need an NAD peptide because you were complaining of brain fog and less energy, so on and so forth. So I really try to focus on the whole aspect of the patient, not just, okay, he came in for testosterone, so I'm going to talk to him only about testosterone. No.
So there's a whole array of products. Can you break down all the products that you're helping and supplying to people right now?
Can I break it down right now? Yeah. So we offer testosterone cypionate with conjunction with HCG and Arimidex if you need an estrogen blocker. Again, I'm not going to give you something you don't need. Then we do testosterone cream 2% for the women if they're complaining of post-peri or, you know, post-perimenopause or just low sex drive, things like that. We offer NAD peptides. We offer BCAA injections for lean muscle. That helps a lot with our GLP patients because they're losing that muscle mass when they're losing the weight loss. We offer B12 injections. We do IV hydration therapy. What else do we offer? Botox, fillers, laser hair removal, laser hair restoration with either PRP or lasers, which is non-invasive. We offer Pronox for wellness. Pronox is a laughing gas. So some cops will come in and, they'll have an hour lunch break and then inhale the Pronox for a half an hour. It'll relax them. And there's studies now that I was involved with that show that if you inhale Pronox for a half an hour in a day, for the rest of the day, you'll be calm and you'll feel kind of serene. And there's no hiccups behind it. You could jump in a car 5 minutes when you're done and drive off and work. It's not giving you that loopy effect. So we do that as well. We do Morpheus 8 for face and body. We do laser facials. And then we offer some oral peptides, BPC 157, Brain Boost, Ignite. We offer a whole bunch of services. And again, it's all customized to what the patients were asking for. Can you do this or can you do that? Lipomino C injections, glutathione, vitamin C injections, immune boost injections, a lot.
A full array of services, but really just tailored to make sure that you're leaving that office feeling like the person that you want to feel like, really evolving you as an individual in the right direction. I love this. And, I feel like these studies have come out a lot more recently about the value of peptides and the value of testosterone and the lack of testosterone in common day men, because as you said, stress and everything else that's happening. Where do you see the industry going? Obviously, you're on the cutting edge. You're opening more offices. You're offering more services. But where do you see, say, the general health and wellness industry going in the next year or two? Do you think this is going to be a regular thing for people over the age of 23?
So, big pharma, and I don't want to sound political or anything, but big pharma really does control how patients get treated. And you can't make money off of healthy people, right? So for me, and I'm a registered nurse, I worked in a hospital, it's just that conveyor belt of put a Band-Aid on them and then give them some medication and make other things wrong and let's just keep seeing them, as opposed to breaking that cycle and saying let's give them some nutraceuticals so their body actually heals so we don't have to worry about this anymore, right? So I feel people are going to need health insurance, obviously, for the big medical expenses, but day to day, a lot of people are willing to pay out of pocket to get themselves healthier and make themselves feel better. So I really hope that that's the health industry goes. I hope and pray that, the insurance companies will start leaning and paying more towards nutraceuticals because there are so many studies that show that it can help and there are so many benefits.
I love to hear that. And I agree with you. From my studies, I've found that it's not only like peptides being almost natural to the body, but it's also what is really needed because the lack of nutrients we're finding in our food, again, the additional stress that's happening to our body. It's more of a time now that we need support our health and our wellness than ever. Let me ask you this, Nicole, starting this business in 2023 and really evolving it so fastly. Do you have a challenge or a failure or something that's happened since you started the company that you'd like to share with the entrepreneurs and the business owners listening right now that could be a learning lesson for other entrepreneurs either trying to get into this space or trying to start their own business?
Well, every state has different guidelines, so make sure that if you did want to do something like this, you know the guidelines for the state so that you don't get in trouble, right? That's rule number one. You don't want your doors to shut before they even open. Failures, not really. I mean, because I've been doing this from a different point of view prior to becoming a business owner, I kind of knew the ebbs and flows and, make sure that you have a 6-month supply of stuff in case, things are out of stock or things are, not being readily available. The GLP, I think, was one of our biggest setbacks. I don't want to call it a failure, but after the FDA cleared, Eli Lilly to sell Mounjaro again or, sell Ozempic again, the compounding pharmacies now I can't offer it compounded. So that's kind of been a setback because now my patients who have become so dedicated to being on tirzepatide or semaglutide now have to pay a little bit more out of pocket to get the real thing, which is good. I mean, the real medicine is always better than compounded, but I mean, I have patients that are canceling their phone subscriptions or their TV subscriptions so that they could continue on this weight loss journey without any hiccups. So that is one of the biggest challenges.
Understood. Yeah, as you said before, it's really understanding the legalities behind each state and the legality that's going to happen. And the market does crazy things to businesses. I mean, from ebbs and flows of things that happen like during COVID to just the seasonality of entering general business. But I hope you guys pull out of that and absolutely crush it. I have one last question for you, Nicole. As an individual that is growing her business and that's really expanding and developing, let's move away from the business and let's go a little bit more personal for you. What are you doing to find your Kaizen? And for the listeners out there, Kaizen is a Japanese business philosophy that means 1% improvement every day or taking small steps towards a larger goal. What are you doing every day, Nicole, to make sure that you are constantly pushing yourself and the business forward every single day?
Research all the time. I'm researching the latest and greatest things. I'm researching side effects and cause and effects of different peptides and what can help without harming. Again, we offer tesamorelin, let's say, right? That's a perfect example. So tesamorelin is a human growth hormone. I'm not going to give it to any of my 9/11 first responders because God forbid there's any type of cancer in their body. I don't want to be the one responsible for that to grow, right? So it's doing a lot of research, knowing your clientele and seeing what can benefit them and not hurt them. That's the number one rule for me. That's my 1% every day is just making sure I'm giving my clients, the best product that will help and not harm them.
And doing that through constant education to develop yourself better. I love that, Nicole. And I think it's a lesson that all of us entrepreneurs and business owners should take is that we should never stop learning. Always try to progress yourself in an educational business. Nicole, the owner of the Infinite You Wellness Clinic, again in White Plains, New York, as well as Long Island, New York, and multiple new locations popping up soon. If someone saw this and they're super interested and they want to get in contact with you, maybe they want TRT, maybe they want GLP-1, how do they find you? Where do they get connected? How can they get your service?
So we have a website, www.infiniteuclinic.com, and that's YOU clinic.com. My personal Instagram page is Nikki_needles with a Z. We also have an Instagram page for Infinite You, but a lot of people reach out to me personally. So the IG for Infinite You is Infinite, the letter U. You can find us on there. And give us a call. I mean, you could Google us. We're on Google. And you could call us 631-458-7834 and you call us up, ask for a consult, and we will definitely try to help as much as we can.
Absolutely love that. And helping people every single day is what we love to hear here at Kaizen. That information to get in contact as well as her website information will be found below in the description. If you guys have finished this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Nicole, thank you so much for your time. Absolutely excellent. I love what you're doing and pushing out to the world, always working for a better tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time.